running up and down those aisles.
I have a nutty friend named Pete Shrum that assures me that part of his nuttiness came from working with you for about 3 months on a show, I think it was Eliminator. Pete Shrum.
Oh, yes, indeed, yes.
Yeah. And,
Pete, yes.
Yeah, he
the
said
Eliminator, yes.
Yeah, he said I can blame part of it on you, so.
Yeah, I'm glad he was happy on that. I was happy on that, and that was extraordinary because it's probably the worst film ever made, actually. The Eliminators.
I just wondered if you're ever going to do any more movies like that.
I wouldn't mind, darling. You know, the money was very good. I'm never allergic to that, the hard stuff. No, yeah, yes, I mean, it was fun. It was done on the cheap. It was one of those, you know, $1 million movies, and we did it in Spain. And Pete suffered the most awful agonies because he, you know, I mean, he was working under the most appalling conditions. But, you know, we did a good job, the best job we could, but it was a stupid thing. I played this mad scientist who started off, he was aged, I think, about 105 in the shade when he started, and he decided to make himself young, so he was doing plastic surgery on himself, which is... I've tried it, it doesn't work. But it amused one or two people, I think. Yes, yes, darling, waving frantically. And near the microphone.
Mr. Dotrice, did you enjoy playing the vampire in Tales from the Dark Side?
Yes,
and I have one more question after that.
Yeah.
The other question is, do you enjoy stage acting more than film acting?
First of all, did I enjoy playing the vampire in Tales from the Dark Side? Yes, I did. I mean, it was a very, very quick job. I mean, we did it. I did it with. I remember Tom Selleck's wife played the lead opposite me, and it was fun because he wasn't the usual sort of vampire. You almost felt sorry for him on occasion because everybody was being rather nasty to him, and it was supposed to be a French vampire. So I did my best to Maurice Chevalier voice, you know. I enjoyed it. As to, you know, the ultimate has to be in terms of satisfaction, and all actors are egotistical characters. They do love applause. And so I think, yes, the theatre is certainly the most rewarding because you have an instant appreciation, hopefully, of your work, and there is nothing to an actor that sounds better or more beautiful than the sound of hands being clapped together. And you see, if you do it on television, particularly if you're doing a comedy, you don't know if it's vaguely amusing or not. You don't even know if you're doing a drama if it's going to hold. You have no response, immediate response from an audience. The only thing that I enjoy about television, not the only thing, but one of the most important things I enjoy about television, is the fact that you can get to such a vast amount of people so quickly. I was doing a one-man show called Brief Lives, which was a strange little show, and it was, thank you, one person saw it, obviously. And I remember the night you were there. And it was a strange little show about an Elizabethan gossip, a chronicler, a diarist called John Aubrey, and it was all his stuff we found in the Bodleian Library. We found 57 volumes of his diaries in the Bodleian Library in Oxford, and we fashioned a little show which we thought was going to be the most boring show that had ever been written. And strangely enough, it went on. In fact, it's still in the Guinness Book of Records as the world's longest running one-man show. And during that time, my run, I did it on Broadway twice, in '67 and in '74. I did it in Chicago, I did it in Boston, I did it in Sydney, Australia at the Opera House. I played the whole of New Zealand, long runs in London. And I did 1,760 performances. Now, I had a 4-hour makeup job, which I had to do myself before the show, so it was a pretty long day, particularly on matinee days. And during that time, which took me best part of 8 years, I worked out that I had played to just over 3 million people. 8 years solid work, I mean really hard work, to play to 8 million people in the theatre. Whereas on television, you know, Beauty and the Beast, even at its worst moments, played to about 10 million people in one night. So it's a very popularizing medium, and I always feel that if you have any kind of talent, and wonderful people like Ron who have tremendous talent, I think it's wonderful that you can share it with as many people as possible. The theatre still tends to be, I'm afraid, a bit of an elitist thing, that only a certain percentage of the population, a very small percentage of the population, go to theatre, whereas almost everyone watches television. Yes, darling, lady in green. Oh, you were only fiddling with your bracelet, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to ask, you did that. I thought, here comes an interesting question. Yes, any more? Yes, darling. Whilst you're waiting for that question, I just want to continue with the other one about the theatre, simply because, you know, the strange thing about theatre, and particularly if you are playing someone who actually existed, whether it's, oh, I don't know, John Aubrey, this character I played in the one-man show. I've also done one-man shows on Winston Churchill and on Abraham Lincoln and Charles Dickens. And it was, what was wonderful for me was getting into the lives of these people and finding out the real human being behind them. I mean, for instance, when one played Lincoln, I used to stand before that vast, you know, Lincoln Memorial in Washington. And I wondered often at the position of the hands, because one hand is like that, and the other hand is like that. And I thought, what does that mean? That must mean tension and relaxation. And I thought, no, that's just an actor's excuse. It's not good enough. And then I got to know a senator awfully well called, his name was Sam, and he was the greatest collector of Lincoln memorabilia in America. He wore Lincoln's suit, the one that he was assassinated in from many, many moons ago for $175,000, and donated it to the Lincoln Museum. And I said to him, tell me about this statue, I'm interested. He said, well, you know, it was sculptured by a man called French, F-R-E-N-C-H, and he said he wrote a book about it, and it's in the Library of Congress. It's a tiny little book. He said, well, you can't take it out of the Library of Congress, but I have permission to go in there, and you can go in